The superscription of Psalm 54 tells us everything we need to understand the setting. To the chief musician on Neginoth, Maskil, a psalm of David, when the Ziphims came and said to Saul, "Doth not David hide himself with us?" This is not a psalm born of comfort. It rises from one of the darkest moments in David's life. The Ziphites were betraying David. These were his own countrymen, men from the tribe of Judah. The account sits in 1 Samuel 23, verses 19 to 20, where the Ziphites approach Saul and say, "Doth not David hide himself with us in strongholds in the wood, in the hill of Hachilah, which is on the south of Jeshimon? Now therefore, O king, come down according to all the desire of thy soul to come down, and our part shall be to deliver him into the king's hand." Betrayal came from within. That is the wound that cuts deepest. And out of that wound, David writes this prayer: "Save me, O God, by thy name, and judge me by thy strength." Psalm 54, verse 1. The first words set the direction. Save me. David does not run to his army. He does not devise a counter-strategy. He flees to God. There is no elaborate preamble, nor long theological introduction. Just the raw cry, "Save me." But notice what David appeals to. He does not claim his own merit. David does not remind God of his victories or his years of faithful service. He calls on God's name. Save me, O God, by thy name. The name of God represents the full character and nature of the Lord, his power, his faithfulness, and his covenant commitment. To appeal to God's name is to appeal to everything God is. David is saying, act according to who you are. He grounds his prayer not in his own worthiness, but in God's character. Then David adds, and judge me by thy strength. The word judge does not mean to condemn, but to vindicate. David asks God to take up his case, to rule in his favor, and to act as his defender. The appeal is to God's strength, because David has no power of his own sufficient for his situation. Saul commands an army. David is just a fugitive in the wilderness. Human strength cannot save him. Only divine power can deliver him. Hear my prayer, O God. Give ear to the words of my mouth. Psalm 54, verse 2. David presses his appeal in verse 2. Hear my prayer and give ear to the words of my mouth say the same thing with different words. This is an example of parallelism and not accidental repetition. It shows the intensity of David's need. He is not making a casual request. The phrase, words of my mouth, is significant. David is not praying in silence. His prayer is vocal, expressed, and declared. He brings his words before God and asks him to receive them. When the world closes in and betrayal strikes from unexpected quarters, the believer should not go silent. Rather, he should pray and bring his case before the only judge who matters. David's prayer is specific. He identifies his source of help and calls on God to act.